So if you guys were wanting to know what's been keeping me this week from doing this episode, this thing right here, this Payin' in the Jaxie cake. It's come out well now, but the chocolate ganache that drips all around it has been an absolute arse to do. It should have been done yesterday morning, but instead it decided it didn't want to set properly. So this is attempt about number 4 of doing this ganache, something I have done many times that decided it did not want to listen this time. But it's finished. I'm relatively happy with it. It was originally actually whiter than this. Unfortunately, where we had accidents, it's ended up bluer than I wanted, but it still looks really effective. It's going to be great for the recipient who I know, so I'm really overall pleased with it now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, creepy friends. Welcome to Nixie Bob's. Look, big news. The bed is back. It's my old bed. I still haven't bought the new one. I'm prospectively going to look at the other one again today. I might do it next week. There have been many delays this week, but I have really good news. Tomorrow's episode, which I don't know what it's called, but I know they're all going on holiday. I've seen a clip of it. I think essentially Max is going to go crazy and they've all got to try and battle Max. Seems like everybody's climbing a wall in gloves. They're on holiday. Grandma's still in that onesie, but we're going to get to that tomorrow. However, I can do it tomorrow. So there's a little bonus for you guys. It might not be out early. It might be out a little later, but it's going to be out tomorrow on this channel, the review of it. So we're all going to be happy about that. But Saturday's episode of Thunderbirds Argo was called The Man from TB5. And it was strangely all about John Tracy. Seriously, I'm going to talk about this towards the end once we've talked about the episode, but like the characterization of John Tracy to me is just everything. But we will get to that. We start the episode with Penelope taking John to a big charity auction she's hosting for a wildlife preserve. The lives of rich and famous guys. But Brains has wired John's tux with all these completely, ridiculously unrealistic features like magnetic socks, some foam in his wrist, many lasers in his cufflinks, all these crazy things. Completely unrealistic, completely bonkers, completely Thunderbirds Argo, probably not so much old age Thunderbirds, but are going to come in handy later on in the episode. So we get a little bit into the auction. We've had Bottomsley pointed out, Umberto's, what's his face? I thought it was Umberto Gianni, but that's someone else. And Parker, after being sort of pestered by Sherbet, the dog, which still kind of annoys me a little bit, follows the kitchen staff into the kitchen to find someone tied up in a cupboard. Turns out to be this Umberto guy. And he then proceeds to battle the kitchen staff. And when Umberto is outbidding everybody on this brooch from Jeff Tracy that Scott and everybody donated for the auction, it goes up to something like $1 million or something crazy. He's revealed to be Hoodie Boy. We've missed the hood. We have not seen the hood in a while. Where is the mechanic? I've not seen the mechanic in forever. The episode is essentially a good old-fashioned heist. It's something that I think I've been waiting to see from this series, so it was really nice and kind of refreshing. He threatens everyone by threatening to cut, because they're on this really cool chateau which is like suspended above mountains by these cables. He ties laser cutters round the cables. How no one noticed this before they went in the building, I'll never know. But he's threatening to cut them all down, and that's why everyone's saying yes to sending them their money. The Hood doesn't recognise John in this episode. Very poignant moment. He asks who John is. Obviously he's aware of all the multimillionaires actually in the building, but John he doesn't know, and I'm going to say the reason he doesn't know John is because he's never physically seen John. I suppose he's had experience with Alan. Probably he's definitely had the Hood experience with Virgil, Scott and Gordon. Alan I'm kind of on the borderline with. Probably he has. But I suppose John's up in space all the time. They've never even met him. So there's a jamming bubble that's been placed, a 5-mile jamming bubble around the whole chateau. So no contact can get in, but you can contact one another within the bubble if you're in the bubble. A little bit confusing, but that's kind of the general gist of it. If you're in the building, fine. If you're outside of it, you can't get in. Gordon and Alan have gone up for space duty. Eos is being a pain in the Jaxie, but because none of them can be reached, or none of them can reach John, they all realise something's wrong. They send out KO in Thunderbird's shadow, who realises the laser cutters, sends out a mayday, launches Scott straight away. John, meanwhile, has managed to get outside to try and at least stop these laser cutters, or at least assess the situation of what's going on. The Hood manages to get away eventually, but unfortunately, Bottomsley decides to get a little bit of rush of blood to the head. I've used that line in my own novels. and knocks the tablet the Hood's holding, therefore starting all the laser cutters. So now everyone's gonna die. We got a big situation. It's a Thunderbirds episode. What more do we expect? So all John can do is slow them down. He can't necessarily stop them, so he's using a fork. One breaks. He uses a fork, some foam, all these crazy things. Magnetic socks come in handy. He laser cutters one down onto another. Hood has escaped in like a jetpack with wings. It was kind of like some weird fairy, I think. Fairy Hood! Oh my god. I probably shouldn't have suggested that. Oh, we're all going to have images in our head and of the Hood going, I'm a fairy! So KO goes after the Hood. She manages to get the tablet out of his hand after the 5-mile jamming bubble, which stops him being filthy rich on other people's money. So just as the chateau is finally falling down, poor old John, you see him, the chateau goes down. He just like falls like this little tiny barnacle all the way down. Penny goes, oh no, John's dead. And then he comes right back up on Thunderbird 1, hanging on a cable going, hello. Not really, he doesn't want to put down in the crowds, and I completely understand that. No one dies, everybody's saved. It was a really kind of action-packed episode. There was so much going on. It starts off kind of nicely paced. I like the fact that it was a good old-fashioned heist, as I said. I got a lot out of this one. But we're going to get to the point of John immediately before I talk about anything else, because they have put so much attention to detail in the character of John as opposed to anybody else. And I've touched on this a million times, but this episode just highlighted how much they've thought about John and how much of it. I think he kind of has borderline social anxiety, because I understand some of the things he does, not wanting to be in crowds, not wanting to be in public places, getting really tense and anxious when people start all the stammering. The characterization is just sensational. Whoever decided to really reinvent John and make him into this kind of person is really, really award-worthy, medal winner. Love you to bits. Seriously amazing person. So many people are different now, and especially where kids are concerned, it's teaching them it's okay, you don't have to fit into a social group. You are fine just to be a loner as you are. And so just as Brains is talking to John about the suit, and Penelope's kind of fibbed to John about just how many people are going to be here, he goes, is it going to make me invisible to crowds? Oh, I love it. Essentially, John going to this event is like trying to put me in a nightclub. It don't work. I did it once and I just stood there like that. And my mate was like, Nixie, dance! And I was like, no. There's just all these people around me getting off with, whoa! The asexual in me vomits at that. Someone was like, do you want a drink? I was like, no. That nearly came as a very, very censored moment right there, guys. Gotta be PG on Thunderbirds. I always try and, like, retain any potty mouth. Obviously, you'll hear a bloody here and there and a bleeding and an odd little word going here or there. But that one was one that we definitely can't use on the channel. I'm definitely not a tween person. Let's just get that straight. I say that all the time. But whew, that was a moment avoided. Thank you for the power of editing. John will also take a tightrope walk above being in the crowds. Love it. Seriously, Johnny is just everything to me in this series. I really get a lot out of him as a character on a personal level, and just on a, you know, I think a writer's perspective on this as well. They've given him so much depth. It's amazing. There's a little bit of a mistake I noticed right in the offset here. Penelope is the one who calls into Tracy Island. Yet when the camera pans round to John and you find out he's gone as her companion, which, by the way, Gordon's very jealous of. Got to mention that in there. When you look back at it, it's John's eyes that are glowing in conversation, but if Penelope's called in, why are his eyes alight? We had a moment of the Parker Haymaker here. Love that. David Graham, just never, ever leave me. Seriously, I need your voice constantly in this series. Never leave me, okay? While it's a lovely, good, old-fashioned heist, it's a shame we couldn't have had the nice little laser guns. I always love those moments in the original where the little gun just comes up like that. And it's completely unthreatening, yet it's threatening and funny and cool at the same time. They have like these devices in their hands. I thought they were like tasers, but obviously you've got to be careful with violence and crime at this time in the morning and blah, blah, blah. It's just a bit of a thought. Is Thunderbird's shadow in any way a kind of nod to the Harmony or Symphony Angels from Captain Scarlet? It was just something that crossed my mind in this episode, and I'm not sure why. It's just the way the craft is, the way it looks. It kind of just gave me an instant vibe of Symphony and Harmony Angels. All those kind of, the female characters in Captain Scarlet and their aeroplanes. Surely the dining chair Penelope and Parker use to escape the chateau on, they face it the way I'm facing and slide it downwards. Surely it would have been better to have gone back ways first, because I've seen that Penelope had like a rope attaching her to it when she got off, but like surely if you've got your weight forward, you're immediately going to be plummeting down like that, as opposed to like being backwards and your weight being to the back. Surely that makes more sense. Like if I look down like that, I don't have vertigo or I'm not really afraid of heights, but that's quite daunting. Again, think it through a little bit more. Think of gravity, guys. Come on. I had to pause this at several moments in the review just to keep my mind active with what was going on. So that was The Man from TB5. Extremely delayed, but we got it done nonetheless. I'm just looking forward to being able to review you guys on the day tomorrow. And I kind of looked in advance. I'm wondering when Emilia Clarke's episode's going to be, because I know she's in it. She does have an episode as a voice character, but I don't know when. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that. But thank you everyone for being here and watching this very delayed episode of Thunderbirds Are Go. Hopefully I'm sorry for it. Hopefully I am sorry for it. It's just, life gets in the way sometimes, guys. You can't always do it when you want. Do leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought of the episode. Give me suggestions for Christmas, guys, because I really don't know what to do. Time's running out. I've looked ahead to some of the episodes and I'm kind of mentally hoping they might redo Give or Take a Million for Christmas, because if I'm right, the last episode of this series is going to be around either the 16th or the 23rd. So I'm really looking forward to that, especially if they do remake that episode. I kind of hope they will. It's just kind of on a whim I thought of that. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're getting bigger. I'm trying to get on the road to 800 here, guys. Really trying. Really, really trying. I'll see you all tomorrow for the next episode of Thunderbirds I'll Go. Bye, everyone.